Hi guys, welcome to this speed build video in The Sims 4. My name is Irene and today I am building a Flamingo, a cinema and nightclub. A completely over the top, overlit build that could be a casino on the strip in Las Vegas. It isn't a casino though, because there's no gambling in The Sims 4 and I wanted to make this into a functional build that you can use in your game. So that's why I made a decision to go for a casino and a flamingo themed nightclub. But it will be, like I said, a completely over the top with a lot of neon lights everywhere, and I will make my own massive lit flower. And you can already see that happening on your screen right now. Before I get more into what inspired me to do this build, why I named it a Flamingo, and of course you can see the interior later on, a lot of other stuff, I wanted to go into how I made this lit flower on the front of this cinema, because it's happening on your screen right now. And this was actually the starting point for me for this build. I had in mind that I wanted to make a build with a decorative flower on it, or just a build in the shape of a flower. I did a lotus flower shaped build a couple of months ago, a spa. It was so much fun to do and I wanted to do something like that again. This turned out to be something completely different though. But I started experimenting with different shapes and with the roofs, of course. I used roofs to create this shape. If you saw any of my other videos, you know that I love to use roofs in my builds. And I was experimenting with it. I pulled out the eaves and I manipulated the curve and I tried to make different leaves for the flowers. And then suddenly I remembered that we have that decoration box, you know, the one that came with the seasons pack. You can use it to decorate your house with Christmas lights during Christmas, for example, or with other lights for other festivities during the year. And I suddenly remembered it, and I knew that with that box we could decorate the eaves in the game on the roofs, and you can decorate your foundations and your spandrels, other stuff. But I tried it out and I realized that it looked quite cool and completely over the top. So I totally went with it. And at first I just used 2 roofs to create 1 leaf. And then I just decided, over the top keyword for this build. Let's just go all the way. So I combined a lot of different roofs together. I didn't count them all. And after that, over here at the beginning, I activated the lights already, but when I was trying it out, I activated these lights, these decoration lights, and this was the result. If you want to recreate something like this, place in a roof in your build, make it very, very small, just 1 square wide. And after you selected the roof, you have these big arrows. You can make roofs bigger and smaller with them, but you have these very small triangles as well. And when you hold down Shift and pull these triangles, you can pull out the eaves of your builds in just one way. If you are one side. If you don't hold down Shift, it will pull out the eaves on both sides of the roof. But when you hold down Shift, it will pull it out on one side. You can pull it out to a maximum of 6 squares in the game. So that was my starting point for the leaf. Then I hold Shift C. When you select the roof, you have these bubbles to manipulate the curve. Normally you just have 1, maybe 2 bubbles, but when you hold Shift C, you have more bubbles, so you can manipulate the curve of roofs even better. I did that, and I just made the shape of the leaves, and then I copied the roof again, that shape. And I pulled out Eve again, but not 6 squares long, but just 5.5 or 4.5. And I combined them all together, and in that way I created this look. And of course you can do a lot of other stuff with it. And you can use it on maybe these fairground attractions. I did a Ferris wheel a couple of months ago. It would be perfect for a build like that, maybe a merry-go-round or something. And there are a lot of different options when it comes down to the decoration lights as well, because I picked these just normal white, pink and red decoration lights, but you have options to go for flickering lights as well. A lot of different colors, a lot of different shapes. You have different banners and bows, and you can go all the way with it. And I love that method, and I think I'm going to use it again in the future. So yeah, that flower idea, that was the starting point for this build for me. That was what I had in my mind, and I thought it could be perfect for a Las Vegas themed build. So when I was quite around this point in the building process, I think a couple of minutes ago, I started gathering inspiration on internet, I wanted to say on Pinterest, and I came across this picture. And this is actually, it is a flower too. It looks completely different, I know, but this is actually the entrance of Flamingo Casino and Hotel on the Strip in Las Vegas. It's apparently very, very famous. It appeared in the movie Ocean's 11. It was in GTA San Andreas. I think that sold 20 million copies for PlayStation 2, if I remember it correctly. And it's massive in real life. In real life, it has around 3,500 hotel rooms. It has an indoor habitat for flamingos. It has a casino. And of course, my build looks on the exterior and in the interior way different. I had way less space. But yeah, for the title and for that flamingo theme, of course, it was my main inspiration. And after that, I just searched for other pictures of old vintage cinemas with these round entrances, and I combined all these ideas together to came up with this over the top build. So then I had to decide which lot to go for. And I'm building it now on a different lot than where I will end up on. But I will still stay in the same world where I'm in right now. This is the world that came with Get Famous. And I totally forgot the name of the world. I want to say Silicon Valley, but I know that's something totally different. But I tried a couple of different lots in San Myshuno, the world that came with the city living pack for The Sims 4. But in San Myshuno, there's one neighborhood that reminds me a little bit of Brooklyn, New York. There's a neighborhood that reminds me a little bit of Tokyo. I never went to these places though. It's what I see on television. But I thought it wasn't really fitting for the Las Vegas style, so I started trying out different lots in that world that came with Get Famous. And I think I don't know the name of it because I almost never built here. There are a couple of very cool, massive lots up on the hills here, and I've built once or twice there, but never really in the city center. And I think it's supposed to be Hollywood, because in the front of the other lot I will switch onto in a couple of minutes, there's a Walk of Fame as well. So I think it's a combination of LA, Hollywood. But still, I know it's not Las Vegas, but still I thought it was the most fitting place for it. And I love building on a completely different lot. It was so much fun to do. Because my previous build was on a city lot as well. But that was in that neighborhood that reminds me a little bit of Brooklyn. And I've built there a couple of times before. It's not really new or something for me. And to build on a completely different lot, it was so kind of refreshing. And I know it sounds so cheesy, but it was a lot of fun. I actually thought a lot about what to do with the entire shape of the build behind that decorative entrance. I knew I wanted to do something with that round entrance because, like I already said, I had a couple of pictures of these old vintage cinemas and they all had the round entrance like that. And yeah, I thought it would be a lot of fun to make. I love making round shapes in the game. I used the method here again. I already talked about it a couple of times in previous videos. If you want to know more about it, I think I explained it the best during my spaceship build, my Star Wars spaceship build. Well, Kate Emerald made a great tutorial about it as well. It comes down to that you want to use a template. I used a round rock over here. I placed objects on the line, the edge of the template, had a round circle, and then I cut out the excess deck that I have left. Like I said, if you want to know more about it, Kate Emerald made a great tutorial about it. But yeah, I knew I wanted to make that front, that round front, but what to do with the building just at the back of it, because of course I needed space for that cinema and for that nightclub, and of course I could just make a block at the back, or maybe a classic kind of style build. But like I said, I think 10 times already, I wanted to go over the top here. So I decided to make it round at the back as well. And to make this, yeah, it's not really a flower as you could see on the lower flower, but I made these leaf shaped things on this roof over here as well. And you can see I changed up a lot right now. I went to a little bit of a bigger lot. The previous one was a 30 by 30. This one is a 30 by 40. And always when I'm building on 64 by 64 lots, I talk about that I love that I have so much space. But this time, again, it didn't feel small at all. But I think it was because I had the idea to make the cinema and this nightclub, and I had 3 stories in this build, and I didn't need space for bedrooms or for kitchens or something like that. It felt quite big. But I switched to the 30 by 40 because on the previous lot I only had space for just the build, and I wanted to make more all around it. Especially the lit palm trees you can see on the sides over there with these very cute small lights around them. Oh, I love them. They're so cute. And they are a debug item actually. You have to use the double cheat to unlock them. I got a couple of questions about it. You have to use Ctrl+Shift+C on your keyboard to unlock your cheat box, and then you want to type in bb.showHiddenObjects, and not only show hidden objects. After that, you want to type in a new cheat, bb.showLiveEditObjects. It's not a new cheat, but I mean another cheat beside that first one. And then you want to type debug in your search bar, and you get that whole array of debug items. So you really have to use the double cheat. But after you do that, just go to your island living items, and at the very bottom, I think it's the bottom row or just one up, you can find that amazing palm tree with all the lights all around it. And I wanted to do something in the front as well of this build. So I made that shape at the front, and I decorated with a lot of flowers everywhere. And yeah, I thought it wasn't empty, of course, because there are already a lot going on right here. But I thought with all these flowers, it looked a little bit more in theme, in that flamingo theme, the tropical theme. I placed a couple of these flamingos in the pool over there as well. I just switched to the interior, but I will use them in a couple of seconds over here too. Yeah, you can see them here, but I will change them up in a couple of seconds over here. I cut the process out of the video because I searched, oh no, in a couple of seconds I will change them up. But I searched for a flamingo in the search bar, and then I found the flamingo garden decorations that were just in the game. I thought we only had them amongst the debug items, and the ones that I used first are debug flamingos, and the ones that I changed them up to, you can see them here, are just amongst the normal items, and they look way better, way more fine made. So I replaced them on the exterior as well, and I like the look way better. In this interior, yeah, I went for the same extreme look that I had on the exterior as well. Lots of neon lights everywhere. This completely over the top feel with these massive flamingos, because of course I named it Flamingo and it had a flamingo shape on the exterior or something. So I wanted to go for these massive waterfalls here. This wall, it came with the Spade pack. You can find them amongst the fountains in your build and buy menu. And I thought they kind of combined good with these flamingos. This was a kind of natural process. I know that sounds very strange, but this interior, I wanted to make just an entrance on this level. But as you can see, I just kept on adding things and making it more neon or more pink. And in the end, yeah, it was so over the top. I know, you can make a drinking game again of another video of mine, now with the words over the top. And I would really like to join you, because I need a night out. And of course we cannot go out right now. Oh, I don't want to whine or something. I know everybody, it's a difficult time now, but lockdown, oh my god. I'm so done with that, but it's a totally different subject. We're on a different level now, one level higher, and over here is really the dance area. The screens that you can see on the wall here, they came with a Moschino pack, a Moschino stuff pack. And when that pack came out, I thought, a Moschino pack? Why would we want a Moschino pack? But in the end, it turned out to be quite a good stuff pack with quite a couple of interesting items and these screens as well, and you can change up the backdrop. And I changed it into cotton candy here. It's called cotton candy. But if you want to play around with this build, you can change it up in different colors, and they all connect to each other. So they all act as one big screen. So that's kind of interesting. Over here is the dance floor, and I will place in the dance floor in a couple of seconds, and I think it totally changed up the look. But the stupid thing is, when you place in the dance floor first, before you place in the items, and you place in glass floors, you have these glass floor tiles that came with Island Living as well, you know. When you place them in, before you place in items, you cannot place in items anymore. They will place them automatically on one level lower. Very strange, and that's why I placed the dance floor in at the very end. Of course, that whole flamingo theme, I wanted to embrace it on this level as well. So here's another massive, another massive flamingos. No, that's a strange sentence, but well, you know what I mean. Over here are the toilets, and I went with a pink room for the ladies and a blue room for the boys. So I went with a pink mirror and a blue mirror, and the one toilet is of course with pink lights and the other one with blue lights. Over here again, every single light that you can see in this build, I went to live mode and I changed up the color of the lights. Of course, I cut it out of the video because otherwise it would be a very, very long process. These nice hanging lights that you can see there, I used them throughout this entire build in the interior. I never really used them before, and they came with the Spade pack. Well, now we're finally onto the cinema. On the top level, the other two levels were their maximum level height, and this one is the smallest level height. And at first I wanted to make the cinema on one of the other levels where I had more height, but because I needed a lot of stairs in this build as well, of course, to make it functional, it just fitted the best over here. So that's why I decided to make it on the very top level right here. And of course, if you want to have a cinema in your own builds, you need that movie pack. And yes, another thing where I totally forgot the name of because I never really used that pack that much. But for that massive television screen, that cinema screen, of course, that came, I think it's called Movie Night, with that Movie Night pack. So I used it over here. And a lot of chairs, of course. These chairs, they came with the Spade pack. And I think for this build, most important, definitely most important, seasons, to use the decorative lights on the, yeah, if you want to make a decorative flower or something. So seasons is very important. If you want to load in this build in your game, I placed a decoration box at the very back of the build. Just click on it, select the decoration type you want. But yes, seasons, I think Spade was very important. Of course, Get Famous. I use Get Famous a lot. And yeah, dine out as well. I almost use every single pack available in this build. I made a little bar over here, more as a decorative area here. And then we're on the end of this video. I'm so curious what you thought about this over the top build. In the end, you can see, yeah, that was the last shot for the drinking game. At the very end, you can see a tour that I made. You can see it right now because it's already starting here. Yeah, these spotlights, I didn't really tell you a bit about that, but I think they came with Get Famous and you can change up the color of them. And of course, they were very fitting. But yeah, please let me know what you thought about this build. If you have some requests for me to build. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. You would make me super happy. I try to experiment a lot with my builds. So if you want to get inspired for your own builds, or if you like to watch speed build videos, please consider to subscribe. I will be back next Tuesday with my next video. I really hope to talk to you then. Have an amazing day. Goodbye.